Here we are once again with the house arrest Philippians Bible study. I hope you've been enjoying it. We've been spending some time in the prayer and thanksgiving section of the letter, and we're going to do that just one more time today. We're looking down now specifically at the prayer section, and you made some good comments early on when we were talking about the prayer section, so I don't want to go too deeply into it. However, I did note that in verses 9, 10, and 11 specifically, Paul is talking about how he is praying for them. And it's easy for us to think how he would want their love to grow. But notice in these three verses that Paul is relating several words together that might not immediately come to our mind when we think of these three words or these several words. He talks about love, but he talks about it in terms of knowledge, in terms of blamelessness, in terms of righteousness. He relates these concepts together so that when our love is filled with knowledge, we are working toward a blameless righteousness. Read those verses carefully, verses 9 through 11, and see what I'm talking about. Then in the comments, as you're thinking about it, I'd like you to think about how knowledge contributes to love that is blameless, love that is righteous. What kind of knowledge is Paul talking about? Now, there's going to be some speculation on your part, but we'll see a little bit more as we get into the book of Philippians, what he's talking about. This verse, verse 11, finishes the prayer section, and when we're done with this, we're going to move on to the body of the letter. This represents a pattern that Paul follows. It's a very typical Paul letter where he deals with a greeting and then a prayer section, and then he moves on to the body, then later on to an encouragement section and his closing. We'll talk about each of those sections as we get into them. But for today, I'd like you to think about love. I'd like you to think about it in terms of knowledge and blamelessness and righteousness, and see what God brings to your mind.